Hello, what's up? SrSpookfest here. Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Cheers. So, I figured I'd just tell some facts. I think I've done this a few times, at least 3 years ago or something on my birthday. Yeah, it's my birthday. Well, technically tomorrow because I was born after midnight, but I just celebrate because it's St. Patrick's Day. So, I figured I'd write down some stuff about St. Patrick, and then we're going to talk about some of my earliest stories of stuff in the West Bridgewater area, Bridgewater Triangle, Massachusetts. That's a very interesting one. So first I'll tell you about St. Patrick, which some stuff you might not know. St. Patrick is actually not Irish. He was born in Britain in the 5th century. So 420, 450, somewhere around there. I don't think they're exactly sure. But let's see. At 16, St. Patrick, he is the saint of beer and getting rid of snakes, I guess. At 16, he was kidnapped for 6 years. March 17th, they believe he passed away in the year 461. What part of Ireland? Happy birthday, thank you. My aunt has a house in County Cork. I forget what it's called. Canarley. Northern Irish is British. So he got kidnapped by Irish raiders back in the between 420 and 4 sometime, but they say he died in 461 on March 17th. That's why we have St. Patrick's Day. And also he drove out all the snakes, even though yet there was no snakes in Ireland. So did they mean like demons? He drove away all the demons and converted people to Christianity and stuff? Yeah, Midland, Ireland. So also, the three leaves plants are not, you know, lucky considering, but they became holy trinity for the three leaf clover. So the three leaf like Hollywood or sorrel or a clover, you know. So the first Irish parade was in New York. I forget what year it was. I do know they said that. But 3 million people attend the Irish parade for St. Patty's Day each year. And he used to live in Wales. I did find that out, that they said most likely he lived in Wales. Hi, Shandy, by the way. So, another thing, he got taken 2 times by Irish raiders. The first time he got taken, it was for 6 years. The second time, he actually used to have dreams, he said, and visions of Ireland, and he actually liked Ireland a lot. So the second time he got taken, they only kept him for 2 months, and he actually said that right when they took him. He said, "I've been told by God or a higher power that in 2 months I'll be free." Exactly 2 months later, 60 days later, he was out and free again. Had visions of Ireland to go back to Ireland. Had baptized lots of people, and actually people back then that was still dangerous. So people were getting killed after he baptized them. There's many other facts. The whole beer thing, I think they just had created beer, not in China or something, not too many years before, and he liked a good beer. So cheers. The snakes thing, I don't think they meant snakes. I think they actually meant like he came there to cleanse the land of evil stuff, and that's what he did. So then after his death, he wasn't a saint when he was alive. It was way after his death, but they saw all the good he did during his life that many years later they made him a saint. I love that Beetlejuice bag you have. Oh yeah, she has some cool bags. She does. I have a Mothman bag. There's Mothman. I just actually burnt all that in there. I'm gonna do a bunch more stuff on it, but I did pretty good on Mothman. He's cool. Flatwoods monster. A Bigfoot sticking his foot out. A little ghost. Uh, so, talking about Mothman and giant bird people type things. Excuse me. Cheers. So, when I think I was like 9 or 10, I was with my grandmother. We're in West Bridgewater, so in part of the Bridgewater Triangle. We're getting back to our house. We just went to, like Friendly's or whatever for breakfast, and then we were going back to her house. We pulled in the driveway. You're lucky we don't have that stuff here. I'm quite jealous, but my bank account isn't. So, pulling into the driveway, I was 9, 10, maybe at the most 11, but I do specifically remember exactly what I saw and telling my grandmother what I saw. So, old legend in the Bridgewater Triangle, the Native Americans used to tell stories of uh, what they said was thunderbirds or like giant pterodactyls. And I'm probably 9, 10. Get out of the car. I look up as soon as I see when I get out of the car, I look down and I see a big shadow. As soon as I looked up, there's like this 15-foot bird because it did have feathers. Now the scientists are saying pterodactyls actually had feathers. This thing was 15 feet. Like the wingspan was bigger than I've ever seen. I kind of freaked out and ran over to my grandmother and said, I just saw a giant bird. And she's like, it's probably just a crane or something like that. And I don't think I had known about the Thunderbird until many years later, probably when I was like 15. So then thinking back to that, I never really tell that story. And my grandmother was like, no, 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 you probably just saw a big bird. So I just remember it so vividly. It was giant, looking kind of like a lizard with a long beak, about wingspan. And I've seen eagles, I've seen hawks my whole life growing up in Massachusetts. I hung out in Maine most of my life camping. I've seen turkey vultures, I've seen giant hawks and giant eagles. It was way bigger, and when it was flying over, it actually scared me. I was like, I'm a pretty big little kid. I'm like 10, so I shouldn't be scared of a bird. But then, years later, started dating my girlfriend, wife Alicia, and she told me a story about in her backyard in Middleborough, which is right outside the boundaries of the Bridgewater Triangle, which is said to be growing actually until King Philip's belt and crown are returned. The curse won't end. So that's like an old historical story of legends of the Wampanoags talking about thunderbirds, demon dogs, giant black snakes, Irish vodka. I did get my girlfriend gave me a present, gave me some really nice Irish whiskey. I don't know the name of it. I'll grab it in a second and show you. But it's very good. It's strong. She doesn't like it. I do. But also having some Guinness. It's the day for it. Might as well have some Guinnesses. I already had dinner. I had corned beef and cabbage. I had soda bread. So delicious. Everything. The little pearl onions and everything. I'm having a tipple. Yeah, so her telling me the story about the time in Middleborough, she saw a giant bird and it flew through the woods and actually crashed through some branches and stuff, she said. Big enough that she got scared, and she was even older than I was when I saw mine. Not far from where my grandmother's house is. I mean, it's only like 15-20 minute ride, not even. So I've just like kind of put that one in the back of my head because I was so young. Maybe it was just a big bird, and I'd never seen one that big before. But thinking back on it, how big it was gigantic. I've seen turkeys and other animals flying through the area, big hawks. We have a lot of hawks up in that area near the swamps. I haven't seen any other big animals. I've seen coyotes up close, deer. I've even been chased by deer, and I've been chased by a moose down a mountain. My sister can tell you that story. I was getting too close to it on the four-wheeler, and I had two girls on the back of the four-wheeler, and they pushed me off because I got too close to it and it was going to charge us. And then a baby moose came out of the woods, and I was on foot and started running, and then on the way back down the mountain too, after we got away from the moose, it actually popped out of the woods at us while we were all on the four-wheeler again going down the mountain, and it was not happy. So getting chased by a moose, that's a big one. I guess I have run into more animals that I didn't think about. But the fact my girlfriend saw a thunderbird, I've seen a thunderbird, I've heard stories of other people seeing thunderbirds in the area. And the Native Americans' legend is thunderbirds do live in the area, and people have been seeing them for hundreds of years. Yeah, this was a mama moose too, and we pulled up on it on top of Hawk Mountain up in Maine, and I was driving the four-wheeler. I got a little bit closer because I thought it was a horse. Then the baby popped out of the woods, and then the girls pushed me off the four-wheeler, and they took off, and I had to run. They picked me up a little bit later, and we saw the moose again on the way back down the mountain. That was a fun. I've seen a bear walking. I followed a river up a mountain, seen just brown fur, black fur through the bushes, and you could hear it. And then it just like kept going and walked past me. I ran back down the mountain. Giant spider. So I've had a wolf spider jump on my shoulder, and it's probably about that big. It's as big as my hand. And I thought somebody grabbed my shoulder to ask me a question. We were climbing Bear Mountain up in Maine to go up to the top of the peak and have a look at the view above Bear Lake, and a giant wolf spider jumped on me. I have a lot of stories. I mean, the time I did go out with my sister-in-law B, we went to the woods with some of her investigator friends, and we did get the cryptid herd, Bridgewater Triangle cryptid herd. It sounds like a monkey. Some people said it's a barn owl. I did call out owl as soon as I heard it, but then if you listen to it, it doesn't sound quite like a lot of owls. Some people say barn owl. It might be, but it's very odd. So if it's an owl, it still scared us all. The spook lights, I still can't explain. Because we saw those, and I do have some on camera, just the ghost lights, and there's stories of the conductor walking down the tracks in the Bridgewater Triangle, the old abandoned railroad track, and the fact that I caught them, and it definitely wasn't our friend. We were still like half mile from him, and his little flashlight wouldn't have shone through the woods like that, and he couldn't run. He walked with a cane. So we realized that we weren't close to the camp that we were trying to get back to. That was a crazy one. I've seen spook lights before that. I've seen blue lights out in the woods. They look like golf ball or tennis ball size, and they'll just float through the woods and then disappear. And some say it is the pugwudgies that are trying to lure you out in those woods in the Hockomock Swamp, which Hockomock Swamp literally means spirit, the place where spirits dwell, or, it's cursed land. I've seen a fox or two, and 3 dead badgers. Those damn badgers don't give a shit. Yeah, thank you, Alicia. I saw a thunderbird near my old house. I know it does sound crazy, but growing up in the area, you know what birds you've seen. You've seen the crane, you've seen the gray cranes, and they're pretty big. But there's no way I would have gotten that scared and ran away. I had known about the cranes and stuff. I've seen them before. This thing had 15-foot wingspan at least. The shadow on the ground was so big it like covered the whole car. My grandmother was like, it's just a bird, don't worry about it. And no, it wasn't. And then hearing other stories, my friend up in Mass, there's so many legends. My buddy Corey said he saw one years ago, and he actually used to be in the military, and he said he saw a lot of messed up stuff. But some of the weirdest things that have happened to him, where when he lived in Easton in Massachusetts, he's had crazy experiences like I've had. So, like my sister having Native American drumming and chanting when they did a Ouija board. What they didn't know was that there was a Native American burial ground like a quarter mile from where they were doing it, and an old Native American Wampanoag encampment, and the Devil's Footprints right near there. There's so many things in that whole area. And if you're just joining, hello all 5 people. I did read this off. So St. Patrick was credited for driving all the snakes out of Ireland. There weren't any snakes in Ireland, so I think they were talking about demons or bad spirits and stuff like that. First Irish parade was actually in New York, and 3 million people attend now. If there's any other stories you guys want to talk about, so I don't really know what else to talk about. You got any questions? I have so many videos that the real ghost voice in Bridgewater Triangle, that one is still, I cannot explain it. Some people said it might be me breathing, and it just sounds like a whisper of something else. I heard it physically, like it was a dog in the distance. So it wasn't me breathing. It sounded like something off in the distance. I even think I say it's just a dog bark. But when I went home and put the tape on and reviewed it, the film. Yeah, I wish I need a camera because this is how I have to do this. I'm just doing all this on my phone. I really do appreciate all these subscribers for the way I do things. I don't edit. I don't cut. Especially when I'm doing ghost investigations. You might see a pause once in a while if nothing's happening and I go to do something and then go back to investigating, but really I don't add music or usually even go live. I don't know, it's kind of weird going live. Hello, Woodlam. Who's in here? Joseph Moore, hello. Shandy Warhol, hello. Die 420 Witch. Yeah, so if anybody has any stories, hopefully you're wearing your green, you're Irish. This looks green, it's actually red. This is a blood rose, straight from the Boston Scally Caps. Alone, anytime going in the woods, if it's getting dark, is scary. I did find a hole in a fence that I plan on crawling through into some wood soon. Probably not tonight because I'm having beers. Woodlam 3, the Natural Wizardry. What's up, man? I'm going to get another drink, but I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, I got this from my girlfriend for my birthday. Patties Irish Whiskey, 1779. It came with like a newspaper and everything that tells you the whole story of Patties, established 1779, original Irish whiskey. Cheers, everybody. I am wondering, has anyone had any experiences with anything? All four of you. Let me know, because I will definitely listen to your stories. Yes, actually, I could talk about that. When I was younger, my grandmother had what she called was the Book of Emery, and the Book of Emery, Merlin Emery, who was the wizard for Merlin Emery, King Arthur. She had the Book of Emery, and it actually tied our lineage all the way back. I think it was like 500-year-old book, 600-year-old book, something like that. But she said that we actually are related. I don't know if it was just telling me that, but I wasn't allowed to touch the book. It sat on a pedestal, and then now it's in some museum somewhere. Either that or my uncle took it. I don't know, but I remember somebody saying that it was going to get taken to a museum. Uh, I always wanted to look at that book. I wasn't supposed to touch it. Because, I was a little kid. Mess up an old book like that, a leather-bound book. And so my whole life I said I am related to Merlin Emery, and he's the Wizard of the Woods, or King Arthur's wizard. Which I always thought was wicked cool. That's why I like Celtic things, I like old medieval stuff. I have throwing axes. I got to get another sword. I had a sword, but I broke it cutting coconuts. My friend was throwing coconuts, and I was slicing them in half like Hook, Robin Williams in Hook, cutting coconuts in half. I got an Irish mustache. So let's see. I've seen stuff I can't explain in a graveyard and at home, and the home stuff didn't scare me because I think it just my dad. See, my wife's dad, Shandy, has passed away, and he passed away here. So every once in a while, we'll have stuff happen, and you're like, wow. Not 5, 6 days ago, we had little spark orbs floating through our house, right in the living room while we're watching TV. My girlfriend, because I smoked, said, did your spark just float across the room or something? It stayed there for like a full minute and just went back and forth a couple times, and then poof, it shot off and disappeared. I was like, there's no way that was for me. It was across the room, like 12 feet away from us. Then I seen it again the next night behind the rocking chair, which I've had the rocking chair kind of move on me before. And I had the windows shut in the house. I was here by myself. The girlfriend was up in Massachusetts. My DNA, I'm 85% Irish. I'm a little German. One of my great grandmothers or somebody had sex with a Native American because I'm a little bit Native American. I know that. What mountain? Woodland. Because some of my first experiences in Massachusetts, first one I really had, the first one I went to an abandoned asylum in Taunton, Paul A. Dever, and we saw a shadow kid. So much so that like 3 of us put our hands up, the other 4 were screaming or freaking out because you could see through this shadow kid. And when he ran, you could see him, the grass move, the tall grass, while we're jumping up and out of the window, out of the basement and the tunnels of this abandoned asylum, right into a brick wall and gone through the brick wall. We all I think for a half an hour we all walked around looking around like that was what? Like what the hell was that? There was security there, but that was not security. My sister filmed. She's going to be sending me some DVDs that she's transferring my old high 8 videotape. I had an old video camera that I let her use with her 2 friends to go do a Ouija board session at her friend Angela's house. They did maybe 5 minutes, not even into the video. You hear boom, 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 oh, and chanting, and for a good 3 minutes on the tape, it's just drumming, chanting. The lights are flickering. The girls already ran out of the room, screaming. I don't, I don't even know if they went back down there. I never. The tape, I think, ended, and that was it. So I got to get those from my sister. And it's good. My sister was with me for my first UFO. If you watch a couple lives back, I think it was 2 or 3 lives back that I talked about that, and she came on the live and actually says, yes, we did see an orange ball UFO over Keoka Lake. And I'm Heinz 57. I'm 37. Actually, not until 12 tonight, but cheers. I've got a lot of Irish in me. You know, one of my great mates and a half Native American, Joseph. Yeah, I think everybody's had something happen to them that they can't explain. And even small things, like maybe put something down and then it's just not where you put it. Deja vu, that happens to everybody. No matter who you are, I think everybody gets deja vu. Some people are saying in vivid dreaming, you're not supposed to ask the time and date. So that's a weird conspiracy. Like the guy that everybody dreams about, there's some picture of a guy and it's just like a bald guy with a weird smile that thousands of people around the world have actually dreamt of, and it's the same guy. But I think that was an experiment by, one of the governments just to see what would happen if you sent out a picture and said everybody's having dreams about this guy, and then people would start having nightmares about him, and then it just kept going on and on with more people showing the picture and telling it, kind of like Slender Man. Because technically now Slender Man is real. Some girls killed the other girl in the woods after Slender Man nonsense. I've heard that. And that's true. She actually went to jail after trying to murder somebody, or did murder somebody. I'm not sure, but the craziness out there. I do love all things weird. Talking of like thunderbirds or giant snakes, I did see coyote puppies, which I've never seen before, on the railroad tracks. And it did kind of stop, look at me, and I wasn't even moving. I was in the car. I just had stopped the car and kind of was like, ooh, follow me, come on. I don't know, because pugwudgies are said to be able to shapeshift. Maybe it was a pugwudgie, because the Bridgewater Triangle is insane. If you stay out there and go out there in the woods at night at any time, you're probably going to have some type of experience. So I went on an investigation with Bridgewater Triangle paranormal investigators, and Harry and me were on this bridge behind this old foundation I found. Very old foundation, all rock walls and stuff. And I had been asking, because nothing had really been going on, it was kind of boring. It was dark and a bit scary, but I started throwing rocks in the water in the river, in the Taunton River, and I asked, could you make a splash in the water and let us know you're here, or do something so we can hear you. And a big splash went in the water. I've had many experiences all throughout the whole Bridgewater Triangle. Maine, I had an experience. Excuse me. I don't usually. I think I've only gone out, 4 or 5 times, maybe altogether 10 times with other people. Usually I go by myself and I just set up and see what I find. If I find anything, hopefully, I'll take people. When I went to the Mothman Museum here, that was fun. So I took my son, we took my mother-in-law and my wife came, and right after we got out of the museum, we went and got lunch, Burger King or something, and we're sitting in the parking lot eating. Boom, strike of lightning over a mountain, blue sky, no clouds. It sounded like lightning. They're like, did you see that? And I was like, I didn't really see anything. I think it might have been a UFO because there was no clouds for a lightning strike. Took off at hyperspeed or something. I'm not sure, but that's weird. Right after you leave the Mothman Museum, I mean, if you know any stories about Indrid Cold, Indrid Cold was actually looked like you and me, and was said to land a spaceship that looked like one of those old oil lamp burners, but the glass turned sideways like a bulb. And it just get out of the, stop cars, go ask people questions, and the middle of the road, like, what do you do for work? Blah, 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 and then leave. After asking a couple questions, go get back on his spaceship and take off. There was like 6, 7 reports of that. Indrid Cold. That's a crazy story. He's in the movie Mothman. He talks to him on the phone. Chapstick. Alright, bye Shandy. Have a good night. Have a good one. Thanks, Shandy. Thank you for saying happy birthday, too. So, another story I've actually probably don't really tell much was the one where I actually was in. So, my friend Josh had called me on the phone, and I was down the street and camping, and he was telling me a UFO was landing on top of a mountain near his house. And about 20 other people, like his neighbors, people parked up on this hill watching this. He said it was 3 lights, white, red, and green, and they were swirling, and only like 50 feet off the ground, he said. And it was a quarter mile from his house, so he could see it from his house when he actually left the area with all the cars parked and went to his house and could still see it. And he said he thought it was landing. That's the first place I saw my first UFO was up in Maine. A lot of things happen in Maine, especially UFO sightings, weird cryptids up there too. I do believe there's some cryptids out there that we just don't know about, especially in the ocean. Yeah, so any more questions about any of my videos? I hope some people go back and check through my Ghost Hunts and More playlists. I have a ton of stories just of weird things like Thunderbird, things like thinking we heard a Bigfoot in the woods. We're not sure, it might have been an owl, but I still don't believe it was an owl. It was too close and too perfect timing. And the weirdity with the spook lights and having things in my house. I've seen shadows. I seen an orb not too long ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, softball size, looked like it had a halo of white around it, but on the inside was all gray, and it just went straight past. And after that, I didn't sleep for a while after that one. I don't know if it was bad or not, but still, it freaked me out to the point where I didn't sleep for that night. And orbs, usually, even trying to catch like the spark orb, that'd be great if it happened right next to me right now. It's not one of these lights, I swear. But I've had too many things happen to say that paranormal isn't real. From Shadow Kid to hearing a voice right in my ear. I hope everybody's had a great St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to go have more beer, and I'm going to have some more corned beef. I do have a birthday cake. Lovely wife, thank you for getting me a cake. And tomorrow I'm probably going to make strawberry shortcakes, like the real way. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little stories. And yeah, check out some of my other videos on the Ghost Hunts and More playlist. There's other playlists, dirt rallies, monster trucks. You need to make Irish stew, well, you gotta add some Guinness to it. Alright, but I hope you enjoyed. My last live, I didn't get to finish or talk about everything. I think on my next live I'm going to do some more research for the moon is hollow, inner earth, and just prepare some stuff. Also more cryptid stuff and more conspiracy theories. I didn't really get to talk about some of my favorite conspiracy theories. Mandela effect, um, the Matrix. If we do live in a simulation, uh, if we live in a simulation, they program me pretty weird. But God, thanks for sharing some lore. Have a good night. Finally figured out how to do this. Well, I'll probably have another ghost investigation, and then I'll do another live, and I'll be talking about some more of that stuff. Just anything weird, I'm into. So, check out my Mothman Museum. Check out Back to the Future and more. Check out Creepy House Banghard. That house was from 1786. Very old house. There's a little kid buried in the backyard. The Native American burial plot with 38 Native Americans is only not even a half mile from there. It's right down it's on the next street over. More UFOs. I'm definitely going to be looking more. I'm going to bring out my telescope and go night watching some nights. I want to get to Shenandoah Valley, which is just west of me, a couple hours to the Appalachian Mountains, do some caves. Some interesting Bigfoot photos have happened in those caves. I think that'd be very interesting. And we have a camper, so I'm just gonna probably go ask if we can go camping one weekend. Take a couple days, go hiking, get in the mountains. Alright, well, cheers. Happy St. Patty's. I'll be 1 year older in a few hours, so leave me happy birthday wishes. And I hope you guys all had corned beef or whatever your favorite food is, and a happy St. Patrick's Day. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for watching all my videos, and coming over and subscribing. I really appreciate you all. I can't even say because how much. It really does mean a lot. I have fun doing this. I love talking about this stuff. So check out some of my other videos, and yeah, have a good one. Happy St. Patty's. Peace out.